What's up guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to install Stable Diffusion web UI solution that allows you to run different types of diffusers fully free of cost and fully locally on your own computer at home. And by the end of this video you will also have something that looks like this, that creates these beautiful images absolutely for free. My only request is that if you like this type of content, you let me know down in the comments and you like this video and subscribe for more stuff so I know to make more videos like this in the future. So without further ado, let's begin. First things first, you're going to go ahead and clone this repository. So we're going to go here, we're going to take the URL, and then we're going to go and git clone this repo. It's going to take a couple of seconds. In the meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and check out the instructions here. So if you have Windows, by the way, a prerequisite for this video is that you need to have Python 3.10 and above installed. For example, I have a Python 3.11 my Mac Intel and it's working quite well, so I believe it will work for you as well. But in any case, if you're running into trouble, this is the version to have, right? Cool. So if you have Windows, the steps are going to be the same. For Linux, you're going to need to run these 3 commands to get Python installed, but if you already have it installed, the steps are going to be somewhat similar as well. Yeah, so it finished cloning the repo. We can go ahead and then check out this directory. So we're going to go ahead into this directory, and then if you're on Windows, all you need to do is literally just run webui-user.bat. If you're on Linux, you're going to run webui.sh, and since we're on Mac Intel, we're also going to run the webui.sh. Sorry. It's going to take a couple of seconds, and this is basically it. It's going to go ahead and install all of the packages required for this to actually work properly on your computer. It's going to take a few minutes, so once it's done, I'm going to come back. And once it's done, you're going to see that it launched a URL, so you can go ahead and access it if it didn't open it for you automatically. And then as you're going to go ahead and try to use it, you might get it with the v1.5 point, but most often you're not going to get it with any checkpoint at all. So what we're going to want to do is go ahead and install a checkpoint. Installing a checkpoint is super easy. All you need to do is go ahead into the model that you want to run. For example, Stable Diffusion 1.5 is the most used version of Stable Diffusion. This is a bit odd at this point. We already have Stable Diffusion SDXL and 2.1, etc., etc. But for this purpose of this video, I'm going to show you how to use the v1.5 because this is the most used one, right? So in order to use this checkpoint, for example, to generate images, you're going to go ahead into the huggingface page and then check out the files and versions for this model, and then you're going to go and install a checkpoint. You can go ahead and install a checkpoint or save tensors, and then with the various versions and sizes of this model. We can go ahead and speak about the difference between these two in a future video, but as far as we are concerned, these are just different types of training methods for these models. So we're going to go ahead and install a checkpoint, for example. So if we're going to go into the Stable Diffusion web UI directory that we just cloned, you're going to see that we have some stuff here. Like we have a bunch of directories which we don't really care about, if we're being fully honest, right? But we do have one directory which is interesting, a directory called models, right? So we're going to go ahead inside it. And then inside this directory, we're going to see that we have something called Stable Diffusion. Inside this directory, you're going to put all the checkpoints or the tensors that you want to use. For example, you can see that I have the 1.5 point checkpoint. So for example, this is going to be this one, which is the larger version because I wanted to have a more data set trained on top of it. But I also have something called cyberrealistic. Right, so the cyberrealistic model actually comes from a site called civit.ai, where it was actually posted. I'll leave a link for this site down below as well. Just make sure that you turn on the filters according to what you want to see, because this site also has a bunch of stuff which are not safe for search. But what you can actually see is a model also has various of checkpoints, right? So you can go ahead and download them accordingly. For example, I download the save tensor, and once you download it, we're going to go ahead and just put it inside a directory. So under Stable Diffusion web UI models, Stable Diffusion, we're going to put the actual save tensors model that you downloaded from right here. and you can see a bunch of images generated using this model, right? So this was the original image on which I based when I created this image, right? So you can see everything set up just accordingly to that, except for the seed. So we can see all the parameters right here. And once you're gonna do once you finish the installation, you put the model right here. We're gonna go ahead back into the Stable Diffusion web UI. Then click on this button right here. It's gonna download a bunch of stuff. You're gonna see a lot of stuff going on right here in the terminal. But once it's done, you can then just go ahead and query it normally. So for example, if we wanted to replicate this image, we can just copy this prompt, and then the negative prompt, which basically tells it what the image shouldn't turn out as, and then you can see the configuration, right? So we can see the scale is 5, and it used 60 steps, which is actually a lot, to be honest. But we can then go ahead and configure everything accordingly. We can also go ahead and then take the same sampler and the seed number if you wanted to get something which is extremely similar. So the model was Yun, so let's take the same. And then click on generate. It's going to take a couple of minutes, so once it's done, we're going to come back to it. Right, so it finally finished loading the image. It took a few years, but we finally managed to get it. So as you can see, it finished loading different 60 steps in the sampling method we used. And the final image looks actually great in my opinion. Keep in mind that this was generated with 512 pixels, so when enlarging it, it doesn't look so great, but compared to the size, it does look very sharp and very good. And if you take a deep look, you can see the eyes and the beard are all matching to the man from this image, right? We have a goatee, we have brown eyes, and everything looks kind of great in my opinion. And yeah, this is how you're gonna go ahead and use the diffuser on your own computer. You can test out the different sampling methods and a bunch of models. This is absolutely free. You can then go ahead and let me know in the comments what you were able to create with it. If you like this type of content, please let me know so I know to make more stuff like that. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.